special properties of matter. Learn with me. Hello everyone, I am Maxinne Vheniz, A.Mallorca. Lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to discover the special properties of materials and the changes that will happen when they are exposed to certain conditions. Hello everyone! Today we will learn how to classify materials based on their ability to absorb water, float, or sink in water, and undergo decay. Examine the two sets of pictures below. These materials are commonly found at home and are grouped according to their properties. Set A: a tissue, a sponge, some towels. Set B: rubber gloves, a plastic bag, a teacup. Set A has the ability to absorb water, while set B is completely opposite. It cannot absorb water or liquid. Set B: rubber gloves, a teacup, and a plastic bag. If you placed all these materials in water, which material will you have the ability to sink in water? A teacup has the ability to sink because it is made of a heavy material. And the rubber gloves and plastic bag will float in water because they are made up of light materials. Porosity. Porosity is the property of a material to absorb a liquid like water. Porous materials have plenty of spaces or holes called pores, where liquid can be quickly absorbed. Set A. In set A, we see that tissue, towels, and sponge are good materials that absorb water. The ability of materials to absorb water is due to the presence of loose fibers with lots of pores or holes between the particles that make up the materials. In sponges, for example, these holes or pores absorb water, making the sponge swell. When you are cooking, you make sure that the materials are clean before using them. When you squeeze the sponge, you are forcing the water or liquid cleanser out of the hose. That cleans the surface of the dishes, glasses, or spoons that you washed and used then in cooking. Other materials that absorb water, like tissue paper, towels, and cottons, are called porous materials. These materials can easily undergo decay also. This happens because the presence of water or moist in the materials can cause degradation of the materials due to the presence of microorganisms that harbors or pile up in the materials. Materials like plastic or metal spoons and forks, porcelains, cups, iron nails, aluminum, cookwares, and glasses that you use at home do not absorb water or liquid. Hence, they are called non-porous materials. There are no holes or spaces between their particles. For example, a spoon and a fork. They do not have holes nor pores, so that they don't absorb water or liquid. But other things, other materials, do not have holes or pores that are also same with this, but you can put water or liquid in it. like a jar, for example, a cup, a pot, and a glass. The ability of materials to sink or float in water depends on their density. Density is the amount of mass of an object per unit volume. Water has a density of 1 gram per cubic centimeter. If the density of an object is higher than the density of water, that object will sink in water. But if the density of the object is less than the density of water, the object will float in water. Learning task number 1. Identify which material will float or sink in water. Check the column that corresponds to your answer. Materials. Our materials are paperclip, rock, ball, ship, and feather. Let us start with number 1. Can you guess? Number 1. Will it float or will it sink? You're correct. Very good. You answered sink. Now we're moving on to number 2. Rock. So, do you think a rock will float or will it sink? Sink, of course. Very good. Now let's move on to number 3. You are doing a great job. Number 3 is a ball. Will it float or will it sink? Very good. A ball will float. Number 4. A ship. Will it float or will it sink? Very good. It will float. And now moving on to number 5. Will it float or will it sink? Very good. You've done a very good job. The feather will float. Learning task number 2. Choose the letter of the best answer. Number 1. Which of the following materials will sink in the water? A. Big stones. B. An empty bottle. C. A styro cup. Or D. A feather. What do you think? What's your answer? Very good. It is letter A. Our correct answer is letter A. Number 2. What kind of materials enable the boats to float in water? A. Wood or bamboo that is denser than water. Letter B. Wood or bamboo that is less dense than water. Letter C. Light metal. Letter D. Plastics that are denser than water. So, what is your answer? Very good. Great job. Letter B is our correct answer. Number 3. What properties of materials are common among coins, spoons, and iron? Number 1. Non-porous. Number 2. Denser than water. Letter 3. Porous. Or number 4. Less dense than water. A. 1 and 2. Letter B. 1 and 4. Letter C. 3 and 2. Letter D. 1 only. What do you think? Very good. The correct answer is letter A. 1 and 2. Let's continue on. Number 4. What property makes these materials sink in water? Number 1. Non-porous. Number 2. Denser than water. Number 3. Porous. And number 4. Less dense than water. Letter A. 2. Letter B. 1 and 4. Letter C. 3 and 2. And letter D, one only. So, what's your answer? Very good. It is letter A, number 2. Let's keep moving. Number 5. Which material will most likely undergo decay? A, aluminum. B, leftover foods. C, water. And D, plastic cups. So, what's your answer? Very good. B, leftover foods will likely to undergo decay. Remember, everyone, porosity is the property of a material to absorb liquid like water. Porous materials have plenty of spaces or holes called pores, where liquid can be quickly absorbed. The ability of materials to sink or float in water depends on their density. Density is the amount of mass of an object per unit volume. If the density of an object is higher than the density of water, that object will sink in water. But if the density of the object is less than the density of water, the object will float in water. Goodbye, everyone! You did a good job! Bye-bye!